Okay, um, so I just did some par measurements, and it looks like to kind of emulate what is believed some of the impact guys are doing and what Tom Barr has recommended, just for giving yourself a more forgiving tank. We've settled on the 41% red setting for these Netlea AT6s, and that's giving roughly 60ish at the substrate back left corner or front left corner, 70ish right in this area, and about the same 60ish over here. So we're just going to keep that there. Now, I've actually, just out of my guesstimate, I had been running 41% for a good 2 weeks, and only a few days ago I went up to 48%. So we're just going to hold it right now at the 41%. And honestly, I can say the tank is going okay with the 41% for those 2 weeks. The only thing that's really stretching is this lily. Everything else looks really good. I can see it's real grown up. We did make just a couple of changes. I did a first trim, a heavy trim on this plant, the baby tears, and we kind of just moved this around. Now the Reuben came out of the garbage tank, is what I now refer to it, and it's got algae, as you can see, and it's actually not doing so great. Probably because it was from here, moved there, moved here, and then back there, and now back in, and it's angry. That's all I can say, and hopefully it will do better. I have been testing NO3, and I've actually ran out of my reagents, and I was not able to test. So end of week NO3 was around 17 to 20-ish, and that is low. So what I'm going to do is I am going to increase my initial dose after today's water change and going forward. Again, I have said screw it. I am done doing the front loading, the amount of water changes. Again, it's my schizoid embolism that I have. We're just going full Burr Aqua, Joe Harvey method. We're going to make it work, or we're going to die trying. So that's a double dose after water change, 2 more doses. Each dose at 2 milliliters per 10 gallons is a 4.5 NO3, 1.2 PO4, and combined 6 ppm of calcium, or not calcium, potassium. Sorry about that. And that's what we're going to go with, but I'm going to increase the initial double dose. I'm going to do like a double dose and then a few more extra milliliters to try and keep my levels a little bit higher. I will also say I will never, ever, ever do another aqua soil. That's way too much work. I don't ever want to deal with it again. I consider inert substrates to be significantly easier, and who cares if I can't grow one plant out of the hundreds of options that I have. I just don't give a excuse my language. I just want this stuff to be easy, grow fast, and have no problems. And I've never had problems like I've had with this aqua soil in both of these tanks. Maybe it's the Netlea. Maybe it's my lack of knowledge using aqua soils and not doing what needed to be done initially. But the bottom line is I don't care. I will be going inert substrates after all this soil has lasted, years, and it's pretty much done. That out of the way, what's going on with the tank? We moved some Mirio in, and it came out of the bad tank, and you can see that these bottoms just want to get algae, kind of like what I've been dealing with in this tank as a whole from the very beginning. So what I just do is I'm just going to cut the top off and replant, and hopefully it improves. But I'm also seeing that it is in this lower light. The heads aren't as big as I want them to be and what they normally look like. So maybe I will create a 4 stem just to kind of counteract that effect and have 4 stems instead of 3. So today I will be cutting those off where that algae is and restarting it, and hopefully it just improves as things go on, and I do increase those nutrients after the water change. Put in the augustifolia over here of the hygrophila. Since we don't have a green plant here, I wanted some grass-like plant. I don't want to deal with Vallisonera at all. I kind of don't like that plant. And this is a perfect substitute, and it should get bushy and nice and kind of overhang. I'm going to take just a couple of stems right off the front of this limno, and I'm just going to pull them more towards the center here. And if you can see, you can kind of visually see into this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start trimming this plant consistently to get it thicker and thicker as it comes up and up. But I'm going to take those trimmings and I'm going to push them into this area so we get some green in behind this red, similar to the Dilepidus here. I'm going to take out this one stem right here, and I'm just going to have one section of the Coryambosa just right here, and I'm going to extend some Dilepidus or Didipus. Whatever, you get the point. The Deandra. I'm going to move it just a little bit to the left, and having this one kind of bump up to these Coryambosa and the Deandra. I'm not going to touch the street today. I'm just going to continue to let that grow, but I am going to take this some of these clinosteps stems right here to the right, and I'm going to push them to the right. So this is basically just a tiny section of my back right plant, and what we'll do is we'll polysteel one of these stems and make sure that this Pseudoides then appears to disappear behind the rock, and that should be done with the street. Yeah, that's it. We're really into, and I know I've said this 100 times now, we're into the final stages, and all we're crossing our fingers is this Reuben gets better. I'm seeing some curling down. I don't know what that is. I never have good luck with this plant. I have no idea what causes that. My calcium is good. My magnesium is good. 35 parts per million calcium, 10 parts per million magnesium should be fine. Maybe it's a CO2 issue, right? And maybe this lower light going on for a couple of months will help. Today also, I'm going to go ahead and calibrate my pH probes. I definitely slack in that department. They have not been calibrated for some time, and that is going to be done today on all my tanks. The lily, I think I want to keep it about that tall. So I'm not going to do anything with it today, but if it gets taller, any leaf that wants to shoot taller than it is getting clipped at the base to let new leaves come up. One nice thing about having the higher light is this wants to stay way more compact, and that's how I've always worked it, so it's been easier to manage. So we'll just have to figure out a new way in this little bit of lower light how to manage it so it still has like nice layers. But overall, I think the tank is doing pretty well. I'm digging the negative areas into the substrate here. Yeah, so with it, I think with this extended, the limno, it just extended just a little bit, so maybe like right about here, maybe a little bit less. Should give a nice some plateauing, if that's such a term. Love the right side. The moss is doing pretty well. Yeah, so really, we're in the final phases where I'm going to start trimming, and I want to keep this more of a rounded. So what I'm going to do is my scissors have a bend, and I will take off those tops and get it even, and then on the sides with that bend, I am going to go around it to keep it nice and round. Kind of like you'll see in those English gardens and such. But again, I'm going to take those clippings, or maybe I'll just take the whole, there's some nice chunks in here, and just kind of extend that and do the same thing with the trimming. So it does get behind this, so it gives some nice contrast. Also to this lucens, I did accidentally have it back too far. So I'm going to bring it just a smidge to the front glass. And I've noticed with this plant that when you do pull it out and you kind of restart it, it takes a long time to get going again. So I'm going to be real cautious. And what I think I'm going to do is just trim the top sections that I need shortened, while keeping everything real long. But just, if it starts to get too bushy, I'm just going to trim those tops and not pull up cut the bottoms and replant like I have been, because it just takes too long to get going again. So I'm going to make damn sure that all those roots and such that are there just get picked up and then replanted versus just cutting it and replanting it. Oh, the fish. I'm not sure if the last episode we did swap the fish. We put in the harlequins, and they do what they're supposed to do. They maintain the mid-ground like I wanted those blood fins to do, but they never did. They just always hide and stayed to the lower sections. So I really do have a top, a mid, and a lower now, although all my cories are hiding for whatever reason. So yeah, there's some algae leaves on the Reuben. I'm just going to cut those away. I'm also going to spritz some hydrogen peroxide and glut combo on those, just to kind of speed up the process. But overall, I think the tank is around 85% doing well. We've always kind of been in this, with this tank, and the 120 is just a freaking disaster. I think we're in a good spot considering all that we've gone through for how many months now. Yep, I think that's it. I will be back after this maintenance session to shoot and show you what I've done. And we are definitely getting much closer to where I will actually be filming what I do with each plant to get into the position of the final shot. I think we're probably a month and a half away from that. All right, guys, we'll see you again, and thanks for watching. I know these can be long and drawn out, and yeah, I'm actually kind of real ready to start working on the AGA tank. I've got all these special plants in stock that I want to try, and just kind of want to push through this. So yep, I think in about a month and a half we're done, and then I'll start working on the AGA tank, and we'll see where this YouTube channel goes from there. Okay, it is the next day. You can see what has been done. I did completely forget to clean my back wall off, so that might be like a little cloudy looking, and the water is actually kind of cloudy today. I'm not sure what we did with it yesterday to cause that. But no big deal. It'll clear in a few days. Yeah, so we just extended just a little bit, and we did push some of the baby's tears in behind here just to get some green in there. Pulled those few forward and brought it to the front right here. And then we extended the Reuben down over. We did add in some Augustifolia hygrophila, and we're just going to leave that there. And I created another stem here, so that might look a little odd with the Mirio there. So I just, once it grows a top, and then I'll get rid of the bottom and just have 4. I think everything looks pretty good. Yeah, I just don't know what's going on with this Reuben. The leaves are curling like this. They're kind of stunty. Maybe it's too much micros, too little micros. I really don't know. I feel like I'm doing everything right, but I'm not sure. I have no idea what's causing that, and I really do not have a backup option. I have some Rotala, but I don't want the leaf shape on the Rotala. The only other thing I have is some Natans, some Super Red, I believe it's called, or Atra, something like that. And then that one that's hard to pronounce, like Pascawaga, I don't know. But it's really just not what I'm looking for. I really want this type of leaf. So definitely confused. We're just going to keep going with it. Hopefully it'll get out of this funk. Yeah, I think the tank looks pretty sharp. I mean, I really like the right side. We'll get all of this even. I had to pull some out to extend it, so you can just see that here. So it's a little funky, but we'll get all that perfectly shaped as we get closer to being done. Yep, got those few stems out, and you can see how I just kind of fix the street right here so it looks a little more natural instead of just an oddball, and I push those few stems over of the clino. Yep, and we won't trim the street for a while. I'll just wait for that so we can actually shoot the video of how I will do that. Pretty simple, just cut the bottoms, right? But other than that, yep, next day, we'll see you in about another month. I'm going to start getting real aggressive on cutting this one. So you can see how much we mowed it down. It comes up, it gets mowed again, and we'll just keep as that builds up to the final height. So these bottoms stay nice while it comes up. But other than that, yeah, we'll wait on this to get it just a touch higher, and then we will trim it like we're trimming this one, and it'll make the leaves smaller. So you'll see that when that occurs. All right, we'll see you in about a month. Thanks, guys. Bye.